Another game, another chaotic finish for the Jazz. This is who we are at this point. We are, I've said it a bunch of times this year, we're perfectly imperfect. We're scrappy, we're tough. We've got heart. We go through great moments, we go through tough moments, but the guys never stop fighting. They never stop competing. They never stop sticking together. Nobody points fingers. Nobody blames anybody else. This is just such a fun group to be a part of because of that. Because every day I know that when I walk in the locker room and when I go out on the court that I'm around a bunch of guys that have found a way to put aside their own personal stuff and just be a part of the team and try to win every night. And it's always a variety of guys that contribute for us. And obviously tonight, Walker with 20 points and 21 rebounds was sensational. And he did so many good things for us. I think something that will go unnoticed in the box score is, Minnesota blitzed or had their big up and pick and roll for a majority of the game, and Walker did a fantastic job of getting into the pocket and making some great decisions for us. He's shown so much growth on both ends of the floor, but I think defense probably comes natural to Walker in a lot of ways, and his ability to learn on the fly on the offensive end has been tremendous. But it wasn't just him. Again, we had 6 players in double figures, and Ochai and Colin both had great games off the bench for us, and that is and that will remain who we are. We talk about Team 49, but the most important word is team. We're a team, and it's not about one person. And I think that's what makes this group so fun. I think that's why our fan base loves this team.
When you look at, and I know you talk about Team 49, but this is probably your first game this season where you look at Walker, you look at Ochai, and you see what they could be and what they could develop into. What were your thoughts on that, and just the way that in pockets of the game, both of those guys had their moments where they kind of took over a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny. The stats or the converting of plays is not what stands out to me. The way they're carrying themselves, just even the way they walk on the court, they know now and they feel that they belong. And that's a huge thing. That's a huge hurdle to get over as a young player coming into the NBA is do I really belong here? And to have that confidence to play in a game like that where it's back and forth, you're on the road, you're playing a good team, and for them to continue to stick in there and make big plays. But it was just their approach has been amazing for me to watch as a coach, because the first thing you have to do is you have to feel like you belong in order to make those big leaps. And I think both of those guys they've put in the work. Their teammates support them. That they come every day with a mindset of they're trying to just get better. And I have no idea what either of them could or will turn into. None of us do. But I do feel confident in the fact right now that both of them believe, and that's step one. So I think as far as their development goes, we've already crossed the threshold of maybe the most important thing.
How big was that opening run in the fourth quarter where -6 going into the fourth, and within about 3 or 4 possessions, you guys have come back and taken the lead?
Yeah, we talk about closing quarters. We talk about starting quarters. It's been an emphasis for our team all year because we understand that those moments of the game can create a lot of momentum. And so we had some good moments of that in this game, and we had some tough ones. Closing the third quarter, it wasn't very good. Our defense was not what it needed to be. We gave up 19 points, I think, in the last 3:56 of the third quarter, and that's just coming out of that timeout, that's tough. The momentum is in Minnesota's favor, but our guys, in between quarters, they were able to refocus and get together and dial in on like, okay, this is what we want to execute on the defensive end. This is how we want to try to play on the offensive end, and let's go try to do it. And then you make shots or you don't. But, we always try to use those moments as a team to just kind of recenter ourselves and try to focus on what's most important. And our team, they do it together. Like I've said before, by the time I get to the timeout, I speak to the coaches, and then by the time I get back, they're already in conversation. They're already talking about what's going on and what they're seeing and feeling. And I think that helps to have that dialogue with them because they feel the game and see the game in a way that I never will, because I'm standing still on the sideline, in a sweater, and they're running around chasing the best players in the world, and they're feeling it. So those conversations, those moments of the game, timeouts in between quarters are always going to be big for our team.
That decision-making from Kessler on the short roll against the high wall, we've seen some veteran, really high-level bigs make those types of decisions. How was he able to do that in his rookie year at 21 years old?
Well, he's got good feet and good hands. So he's able to, number one, catch the ball, and number two, catch the ball on balance. And so your eyes can see what they need to see, and your brain can tell you what it needs to tell you. But if you can't physically do the first part, which is catch the ball comfortably and pivot to see the defense, it's really hard. That the high wall speeds you up, and Minnesota does a great job of rotating behind it. But I think early at this stage in Walker's career, the physical tools that he has allows him to have an opportunity to be successful there. Whether he actually makes the right decision every time, who knows? We could see this defense again, and he could have moments where he just makes the wrong choice, but he's able to catch the ball comfortably in the pocket and on balance because of his feet and his hands.
He's the way he defends too. It seems like he's in the right spot. It's straight up. He's doing things all the right way. That type of base for a player so young. What does that mean for what he can do?
Well, it means that for us, we're lucky that probably a combination of Walker has great instincts, and Walker's been very well coached before he got to us. But I think it gives you the ability as a coach to kind of get to the next chapter a little bit quicker, because you can dig into some of the nuance, because he has such a solid foundation on that end. And he knows that I'm going to continue to stay on him. And, I demand a lot from Walker, because I've said it before, I really think that he has so much to give. So he has a great foundation, and I think that allows us to start coaching some of the nuanced part maybe a little bit earlier in his career than you might with somebody else. But that's a credit to him, and that's a credit to everybody that's coached him before this.
He's been hyper efficient this year. Did you sense a production performance like this was maybe incoming?
I wish I could sit here and say, yeah, I knew he was going to have 20 and 20 at some point. I'm not that smart. He puts the work in. He really does, and he pursues the ball. To get 21 rebounds, you have to have a combination of great effort, great instincts, and you got to get a couple good bounces. So he's been tremendous, and his efficiency is, again, he has great hands, great feet, and he takes good shots. His teammates have done a great job of finding him around the basket. Obviously, a very high percentage of his baskets are assisted. So we're lucky to have him in Utah.
When the Rudy Gobert trade happened, a lot of people still took the picks, but how excited was the organization, I guess, for what Walker Kessler would do?
Yeah, I can only speak for my own personal standpoint. He was talked about a lot when the trade happened, and obviously his size and frame and defensive ability in college, his block rate in college and all that stuff was there, but you don't know if it's going to translate to the NBA. And I watched a lot of film on him, and you are excited watching the film, but again, you're not sure if it's going to translate. But then when we got to open gym and training camp, and you start watching him play, every day he had 3 or 4 moments where the coaches would all kind of look at each other and go, "You see that? He's blocking shots with both hands and making some really athletic plays on offense, showing off that he has nimble feet and good hands." And you don't know how that's going to translate and how fast it's going to translate. But I know that training camp was probably the moment where our coaching staff and his teammates started to all kind of have the awareness that Walker was going to be something special. I think Mike Conley was probably the first person that came up to me outside of the assistants when we would talk in our coaches meetings. He just came up to me at practice and was like, "That kid's going to be good." And Mike's seen a lot. Mike's played with a lot of great bigs. He has a lot of experience in this league. So, that stamp of approval obviously means a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll have Keith Walker.